With your Harry Potters and Hunger Games and even your Marvel movies, it's usually pretty apparent when films are adaptations of other mediums. But occasionally, a film attains a classic status that overshadows its origin. Here are 10 movies you didn't know were adaptations. The 1983 classic Scarface went into production after Al Pacino wanted to star in an adaptation of the 1932 film of the same name. And that Scarface was based on a book, and that book was based on the real life of Al Capone. A decade before The Nightmare Before Christmas was a stop-motion animated movie, it was a 3-page poem that Tim Burton had written for Disney. And if Disney hadn't passed on buying that poem, Hot Topic might never have been the mighty Jack Skellington empire that it is today. Tim Burton's other notable adaptation is his 1996 alien invasion farce, Mars Attacks, which was based on a set of bubblegum trading cards from the 1960s. Luckily, the movie was a lot better than the actual gum. It's no secret that William Wallace's Braveheart was a real person, but did you know that the film is actually adapted from an epic poem from the 15th century? And that poem is also not historically accurate, making Braveheart a dubious true story at best. Weird Science, the John Hughes classic about a robot trying to get two teenagers laid as all hell, shares its name with an EC comic title from the 1950s, and it's a loose adaptation of a story from the 5th issue, Made of the Future. This Nick Cage masterpiece of crap, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, was based on Disney's Fantasia segment of the same name, which in turn was based on an 18th century poem by Goethe. Nick Cage led the charge in making this movie because he purportedly wanted to play somebody with magic powers, not realizing that he is magic already. The Mask is an adaptation of a Dark Horse comic of the same title, but of a much different tone. In the comic, Stanley Ipkiss kills a whole ton of cops and then is shot in the back by his girlfriend. 12 Monkeys is a reimagining of a 1960s French science fiction short film, La Jetée, which is fine, I guess, but it features 100% less Bruce Willis with long hair and a mustache. Top Gun was based on an article titled Top Guns, published in a 1983 issue of California Magazine. However, the prominence of the perils and pleasures of beach volleyball may have been an embellishment on the part of the film. And lastly, all of the Die Hards. The first Die Hard was an adaptation of the Roger Thorpe novel, Nothing Lasts Forever. Die Hard 2 was an adaptation of a completely unrelated book called 58 Minutes. Die Hard with a Vengeance was adapted from an unrelated screenplay titled Simon Says. Live Free or Die Hard was based on a technology article published in Wired, and A Good Day to Die Hard was adapted from an actual pile of dog poo.